On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Heilung, just sort of in general, but also specifically their most recent album,
Last
Futha.
year. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
And we're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today, we're not really talking about metal. It's still Female February.
Sure.
But we're kind of sliding on into a non-metal march here with Heilung, which is metal adjacent in the sense, not stylistically,
No.
but in their fan base and partially in the membership. They perform at a lot of metal festivals. They get talked about in metal magazines. So if you don't know about Heilung, Heilung is a, shall we say, Northern European band. The three main members are from Germany, Denmark, and Norway.
Right.
And they are what to call them? You might call them neo-pagan folk, but that conjures up like Wardruna, which is
Not the
fairly
same.
similar, but not the same.
Not the same.
And they call themselves, and I think it's the most appropriate term, they call themselves Amplified History.
Yes.
What are you looking at?
Making sure because my key fob in my car, I hit lock because I got stuff in there. And sometimes my key fobs have been weird lately. I hit the lock, it'll go, okay, you want me to start the car? All right, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
I want to make
so
sure it's not
your
running.
car wasn't on.
Yeah.
I see. But yeah, they call themselves Amplified History.
Sure.
And we can get more into this a little bit later, but essentially they are playing traditional instruments and singing songs that are adapted from traditional sources. They aren't necessarily, strictly speaking, traditional songs,
Right.
as it were. They're not reproducing things one to one, but they're taking this traditional stuff and they are putting it through a filter of modern technology. So you've got things that are looped, things that have effects on them. Generally, it is. A lot of the sound is still fairly natural, but they, of course, are using microphones and stuff. So
Of course.
it's not 100% historically accurate. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later. First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm not doing too bad. I went to the doctor today and went to the doctor yesterday, sort of, to get new drugs.
Yeah, you went to a different doctor today.
Yeah, different doctor today because I have potentially tachycardia.
Yeah, you have the heart rate of a hummingbird.
I do.
So you went to get that looked at, and they said, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're old. Shit happens. You're not old, but you're middle-aged, so shit happens.
Yeah, they took blood. They put an EKG on me. The person who put the EKG on me, I've known since she was a tiny girl.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So that really just put your own mortality right there up in your face.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what you want when you're in a doctor's office.
Sure.
Is to be reminded of your own frailty. And,
Oh, yeah.
And the process of aging.
Yeah, and I went down and I gave the blood, and they, we need to put your date of birth on there. I gave my date of birth, and she said, you were born on the same day as my dad. Yeah, all right.
Thanks.
Okay. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday to your dad. But so because you mentioned while you were in there, you checked your or was it the report that he gave you from measuring your heart rate where it was the lowest it's been in like a week?
Well, in several weeks. It's since because I got this Fitbit for my birthday, and it's constantly telling me that my heart rate, like right now, I'm at 104 BPM.
Jesus Christ!
And it's usually between like 104 and 125, somewhere in there. And
that's not good, dude.
No. And so when I sat down in the office, I'm waiting for my doctor to come in. And I looked down on my Fitbit and it's like 80.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, no.
Stop pretending to be normal.
Yeah.
Not right now. Yeah, that's it. That is, you hate when that happens where it's like, yeah, I've been having these horrible headaches. I'm not having one right now, though.
I'm fine.
So, it's hard for me. So I might be lying to you. To quote John Mulaney, like a crime.
Yeah.
I was lying to a doctor for drugs.
Like a crime.
But
Frequent urination.
well, and you mentioned this earlier today. It's like when your car is making a noise and you take it in to get checked, and suddenly it's not making the noise anymore.
Right. Well, it seems fine. Well, great. Well, it's going to catch fire while I'm driving it now.
And it'll be your fault.
Yeah.
Because I trusted you. Yeah, I mean, they can only go for that sort of thing. At least they can only go off of what they've seen. Because who knows how many hypochondriacs they have to deal with on a weekly basis that come in just like, my heart's gonna explode.
You're fine. You're fine,
David. We've been over this before. There is nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly healthy. No, I've got breast cancer.
I'm looking at your charts, and we did some tests. It turns out you're an asshole. Yeah.
That is the only thing wrong with you. You're visiting the wrong kind of doctor. I'm giving you a prescription for therapy.
Yeah.
But I'll
be fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been like this your whole life,
who knows? Because I only just got the Fitbit.
Yeah. So you don't really know if your heart rate has been that out of whack for a long time. I mean,
who knows?
You were very skinny for a very long time.
I was, and I was an athletic teenager. I mean, when I say athletic, I mean I've my skateboard a lot.
Fucked around a lot.
I did. I fucked around a lot. I mean, I'm on my skateboard. I'm an athlete. All right, let's go smoke weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You were the lazy kind of you were a suburban athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hey, skateboarding is a sport.
It is.
All right.
I worked up a sweat.
Hell yeah.
I broke several bones.
Exactly. If you can break bones doing it, it's a sport.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of things that have now become a sport.
Sitting.
Coughing too vigorously.
Broke a rib. What'd you do? I breathed in some cheese.
That would be what happens to me. That's going to be what happens because I breathe shit in all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be breathing in molten cheese. It's not even molten cheese.
No,
it's just cheese on a sandwich.
Sure, or you just grabbed some shredded cheese out of a bag and shoved it in your face, and now you're in the back of an ambulance.
See, so that was actually something I was thinking of the other day because I saw a thing where it was like me, eating shredded cheese out of the fridge at 3 a.m. It was a meme, funny. But I was thinking about it because my old roommate, he would occasionally go over to the fridge and just eat a raw slice of American cheese.
I do that too.
I don't get it.
I do that too. Well, I mean, if there's not, oh man, it'd be work to do that. It'd be work to do that. I have to dirty a dish to do that. You know what? If I just unwrap this cellophane covered piece of cheese, fold it up and shove it in my gaping maw.
I cannot eat American cheese by itself. It tastes like nothing.
No, I know. I'm not going to argue. I mean, but you know what it tastes like to me? It tastes like childhood.
I guess.
It's the thing that was on top of bologna.
I guess.
In a sandwich growing up,
Like, I'll certainly put it on sandwiches, and of course I'll put it on burgers.
Sure.
But, like, it's something that's meant to be put on other things. It is not a cheese that you eat by itself. There are plenty of cheeses. There are many, many cheeses. Almost every other cheese can be eaten on its own. But an American cheese, to me, is just, I cannot handle it.
I got a block of Velveeta tonight.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
Did you eat just a piece of Velveeta?
Now even I have boundaries. No, I was gonna because I bought broccoli as well. I was gonna melt broccoli over. I said, I can get one of those packets of the Jolly Green Giant, the Green Giant. It's just it's a buck and it's got broccoli and cheese in it, and you throw it in the microwave and yum. But I was gonna do that, and then my wife is like, "There's lots of sodium. You're trying to kill me. I'm not trying to kill you. So I'll just get broccoli and cheese separate, and you can have the broccoli, and I'll smother mine in cheese, and
there you go.
And you'll way outlive me, and everything will be as is such should be.
I mean, that was going to happen anyway. She's a woman.
Yeah, true. Also, she doesn't have tachycardia.
Yeah. She hasn't lived your life.
No. She is Canadian.
So does that mean what does that mean as far as her lifespan goes?
Well, there's an exchange rate.
Okay.
No.
There's an exchange of Canadian years. What's her lifespan in Canadian years?
No, but she's done a fair amount of, she's had a couple of drinks.
Okay. I suppose, Canada. Yeah, it is Canada, after all. I can't remember if Canada is ahead of or behind America in alcohol consumed per capita.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
From my experience, man, it's hard to say. I would say maybe above. But, I mean, the kind of people who, I'll have a drink with dinner, and it'll be, that drink will be a 6-pack, and it'll be, but it won't be too much.
If you pour it into one vestibule, then it's one drink.
A vestibule.
A vestibule? A vestibule is a thing that contains other things, right?
Sure.
Right?
Vestibule is a thing in a church where you...
Are you sure?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm going to look up what vestibule means.
Look up vestibule. In the meantime, here's another thing on just a different note. I got Stardew Valley this week.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about it last week at work,
and I'm like, I want to try this.
And like I've also wanted to play Stardew Valley for a while, but you've caught the bug.
I did. I caught the bug, and I last night is like midnight, and I'm still watering my goddamn cranberries in my farm, and I snapped a picture, and my oldest daughter, she's like, I love that game.
Oh wow.
So now we bonded over it a little bit today.
There you go. Well, so if you don't know what Stardew Valley is, it is a game that is started out as a sort of fan project of a guy who wanted to make a more satisfactory sequel to a game series called Harvest Moon. And it was just one guy. It remained to be one guy until the game was released in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
It was, his indie studio published by an indie publisher.
Yeah.
And it made a ludicrous amount of fucking money.
Sure.
And it's just a simple top-down, pixel art game where you just go around and clear out this little property that you've been given and learn how to farm and meet the townspeople and improve your homestead.
And it's so detailed. It's extremely detailed.
Everything I've heard about it has said this game will consume your whole life.
Which it has kind of done.
It's kind of scary on one hand because it's like, I don't know if I want to spend that much time on this. But on the other hand, it's like, but you're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy it. So I don't know. Apparently, you were saying that like even your wife is kind of getting into it.
Yeah, she's like, well, you need to go over there and okay, there's weeds growing in your property. You got to take care of those. And there's going to be a dance tonight. You need to get down to the beach, and you need to give a gift to Haley. It's her birthday, so.
Does she do that sort of thing for you in real life too? Just remind you of all the things that are happening?
Oh, I don't know anything that's going on ever.
You're just never aware.
I have a phone that tells me stuff, and
I suppose.
Wife. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. So she's basically doing for you in the game what she already does for you anyway.
Oh yeah.
But now you found a game that she can like get involved in. And she if you had I don't know if it has local co-op. Or if it's only it's System Link.
It's System Link co-op.
Oh, okay.
You can't do.
You would need another PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say if you had local co-op, that would be really fun. But
that would be.
But yeah, you would need two PlayStations. I don't know why I said it that
way.
The PlayStation. I am Japanese.
Yeah. Vive la Japan.
Vive la Japan. But yeah, I've been meaning to buy Stardew Valley for quite some time. I haven't summoned up the courage just yet. It's sort of weird because I almost view it the same way I look at Dark Souls.
Sure.
Where it's like, those games could not be more different. But it's like, do I want to sink that much time into this thing I know I'll probably enjoy?
Sure.
So that is kind of daunting. And then in about a month, we've got, other people will have Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Sure.
I'll have Doom Eternal finally.
I know. Oh, and the Doom from 2016, Doom...
it's just Doom.
Is it just Doom?
It's just Doom.
Doom, yeah. It's now available for $10.
Oh, okay.
You can buy it for $10 and play. I got a message from our coworker saying, you need to go buy it on the PlayStation Store. So.
And then play it after the kids have gone to bed.
Yeah.
Basically.
Play it, and then I'm going to play it and go, I got to buy the
new one. Yeah. Yeah, I have it on my Xbox. I've been wanting to buy it on my PC, just because Doom is the sort of first-person shooter that really benefits from a keyboard and mouse.
Really?
Although I've never been a keyboard and mouse shooter kind of guy.
No.
If it's like a first-person RPG like Fallout, I'm fine with that. But like, I've never gotten the hang of first-person shooters on PC. The most invested I've gotten in it is like like I've got the Master Chief Collection, so I've got this shooter that I know I'm going to play.
Sure.
I tried playing Rising Storm 2 Vietnam for quite some time, and that, first of all, I mean, it's a really good game. I'm just really, really, really fucking bad at it.
Sure.
And it's the sort of game that requires so much teamwork and coordination that it was just kind of like, I'm too casual for this. As much as I would love to be really good at this, I'm way too casual for this game's audience.
Yeah, it was like the first Medal of Honor game. I got that on PlayStation 2, and I remember playing it and feeling bad because now we're storming the beach at Normandy, and all these guys are getting blown up, and my major concern is I'm getting kind of seasick with this first-person shooter mode. I just
can't handle these first-person shooters.
Imagine myself being there in the invasion during World War II and that being my problem, but
I mean,
no.
I mean, it would almost be beneficial, I imagine, on the landing craft to be focused on how you're seasick instead of thinking about how there's 300 machine guns, a mile away from you.
Sure.
On the beach. So that might be helpful. I'm sure there was plenty of troopers that got plenty sick on the ride over.
Well, yeah.
But that would suck. Now you get to die covered in vomit.
Yeah. That's probably how it's going to be.
Die in a bed covered in vomit.
Kale died in the way he lived.
Lying around covered in his own vomit. I think someone else's was there too. It's weird.
We didn't do a DNA test.
Surrounded by friends and family, he threw up. They all threw up. Then he died. The final humiliation. Oh, God.
What's going on with you? Anything new?
Lots of basketball games. Sure. I've been doing the board
Have you
for.
been training? Oh, you're running the board.
Yeah, I've been at the training camps. I've been really working on my. I just realized I don't know like any basketball terms. Free throws, layups. I've been
your home runs.
I've been really honing in my 3-pointers.
I've been taking it down for the touchdown.
Yeah, I've been going hard in the paint.
Sure, from the top of the key, making those shots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Working on my slap shot. No, I've been doing board operating for basketball games. It's been fine. Like we said last week, it's not difficult. It's just time consuming,
right?
And a little arduous because you just have to sit there listening to a thing for 3 hours. So it's fine. We got more games. We got 3 more games to go.
Yeah.
Four
more days or games.
4 more games because then a new tournament is getting started on Friday.
Is it
boys tournament?
Well, is it boys Class B?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'll be. We're getting towards the end of the basketball game, so it's like I like the money, but the days get real fucking long.
Sure.
But the other thing that I did is over the weekend I went to Fargo.
Oh, right, yeah.
I had a lovely D&D weekend with my pals. Got there Friday night, got way too drunk, and was hungover for the first half of the D&D game, which I really, really regretted having drunk that much. But we were watching Velocipaster, so...
Sure. You needed to be drunk for that.
I needed to be. I don't think there was a level of drunk I could have been to make that movie enjoyable. I think I would have needed something somewhat more plant-based in order to enjoy Velocipaster.
Spinach?
Yeah, I needed a healthy helping of spinach. But God, that movie is so fucking dumb and bad. And it's the worst thing for me because it's bad on purpose. Like some of it I find funny, but the bad movies that I find the most entertaining are the ones where at least the director had no idea how bad the movie they were making was.
Sure.
That is what I enjoy the most because I feel like I feel like everyone was really trying.
Sure.
When you set out to make a bad movie, you're not really trying.
No,
unless it's like Black Dynamite.
Sure, but that's not a bad movie. That's a great movie.
That's the thing. It's legitimately a good movie because all the ways in which it's supposed to be bad are actually extremely clever.
Right.
versus your Sharknadoes and whatnot. So yeah, Velocipaster, it's stupid, it's bad. The best line in the movie, however, is the night after he first transforms into a dinosaur and goes on a killing spree to save this prostitute that was being beat up.
Sure.
He wakes up like naked in her bed because he transformed back into a human and she brought him home, and he's like. He makes some remark about her being a prostitute, and she's like, "You turned into a dinosaur." I don't believe in dinosaurs.
Come on.
It was either that or dinosaurs aren't real. And he's supposed to be a Catholic priest, which that's not the dogma anymore.
No, it's not the doctrine of the church.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It was slightly funny. Despite there's a part where he kills a man in a confessional booth, and that's
in a vestibule.
Yeah, you were right. A vestibule is just a room in a house, just in a house. It's not even like a church or anything.
Sure,
it's like a side room.
Sure.
There was a different word I think that I was trying to think of. It's not vestibule.
Not a vesticle.
I don't know.
I know a word and I can see it in my head and I can't.
Yeah,
terrible.
I mean, a room could contain a lot of liquid.
Sure, it can. My whole house contained a lot of liquid.
Yeah, for a couple months.
Yeah.
Your whole house contained multiple feet of liquid.
A whole river.
A whole river. Not the whole river of liquid. That was spread out a little bit more.
It was over the whole city.
Not the whole half the city. All the parts of the city where people live, basically.
The lower parts of our home down in the valley so low.
Yeah.
All full of water.
But anyway,
that really blows.
I was talking about Velocipaster. It's just bad and stupid. It's just bad and stupid. Oh, I was talking about him getting killed in or him killing a guy in the confessional.
Yeah.
And there is this other priest that works at this church and is like his mentor. It is never brought up by anybody that there was a man who was found torn to pieces in the confessional booth of the church.
Sure, you would think that would be a point of note.
Yeah, no one says a goddamn word. And then the next day, we played Dungeons and Dragons. Sure. It was a custom module that my friend found online.
Was that Saturday you did that or Sunday?
It was Saturday. And we played for like 10 hours, I think. We got done at like 10:30. Had a big boss fight against 2 green dragons. And it was a good time. It was nice to get to sit and play and not have to worry about DMing. Although because there was a lot of new folks there, I did have to kind of backseat DM a little bit and help Travis out with questions, and he'd run stuff by me, and I'd think real hard about it and be like, I don't know. But it was nice to just be able to sit and just play and also directly interact with the other player characters. Like it's kind of cool to be like, I use lay on hands on this guy, and you can just touch the person that's right next to you.
Yeah.
Me, as someone who did theater in high school, like being able to actually like inhabit that space and like act out a character without thinking like, oh, is this going to fit on the tiny frame of my video chat in Roll20? That was really nice. I really enjoyed that change of pace from playing over Roll20.
Nice.
Then last night we played a regular game that I've been playing for a while, and went on a big, huge magical shopping trip, and then we went and killed some communist Frankensteins.
Nice.
They were like, you ever played Dishonored?
I have not.
But you know the guy from Dishonored, like super, cool assassin guy? Think of that, but if it was Frankenstein. We were fighting those, and our wizard hit them with lightning bolt, and they got almost all their health back after they had both backstabbed me and knocked me on my ass in a single turn.
Wow.
The level 10 fighter got knocked on his ass in one fucking turn. So yeah, that was a fun time last night. yeah, I've just been
Cool.
enjoying the little things.
Mm-hmm.
So
This last weekend, also mentioned that I went to that Champagne on Ice event.
oh, it was champagne and
Champagne
ice.
and ice.
It was not
on ice.
champagne on ice.
There
That
was
is
no
a
ice.
recipe. That is a recipe for disaster right there.
Well, it was already a recipe for disaster. I went there with one of our sales. Well, I sat with one of our sales staff, who is known for the party.
Yeah, she likes to party.
Yeah, and so of course they did the auction, and by the time the auction came about, I'm like, I'll bid on shit. Yeah, you got it. I got my credit card. What are we bidding on?
Let's go. And
Let's go.
If I recall, you bid on a Avengers poster that was signed by like most of the cast.
Of Endgame. I would have paid $700 for it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I didn't end up winning any auctions, which is good.
Yeah.
Because-
on one hand, good.
Because sober me the next day went, oh man, what would I have fucking done with that?
Yeah, that would have been it would have been difficult. So shall we?
Okay.
So this week we're talking about Heilung. We were already talking about them. They're sort of a neo folk sort of trance amplified history sort of band. They got together in 2015 to start recording some stuff. Two of the members, which is Kai Uwe,
Yeah.
Kai Faust, shall we say?
Kai Faust?
Yeah, his last name is Faust.
Ah, yeah, right.
And he's
Not
from
to be confused with the black metal drummer.
yeah. Also, not to be confused with there's some comic book character. He's a DC. Anyway, he's a demon man. Anyway, he's like Spawn before Spawn. But yeah, Kai Faust and Christopher Jewell met at a Living History Viking reenactment, and I got this actually a little bit confused. So Christopher Jewell, if I remember correctly, he grew up in a pagan household.
Sure.
His father was, I believe, a pagan priest, and he grew up, surrounded by Norse paganism and attending living history events and stuff like that. Kai Faust grew up in a very strict Christian household, and was very interested in mythology growing up, but he wasn't allowed to watch TV. He wasn't allowed to read, a certain number of books, but he managed to get his hands on a couple of different mythology books. When he was a teenager, he sort of started delving into Satanism. And then he says when he was 17, he attended like a sort of a meeting of these, neo-paganists. And like kind of he describes it as the light sort of returning to his life. Because he was delving a lot deeper into like Satanism than most teenagers you would expect. Like teenagers who go through like a satanic phase, it's usually kind of like surface level stuff. He was kind of delving
Really?
into some of the weird, nasty stuff, which you don't want teenagers necessarily to be into. Not necessarily like the sanctioned Levian stuff. Like it might have been theistic Satanism or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, he mentions getting into like neo-paganism, and that sort of he credits that with sort of saving his life. Essentially,
So it brought light back into his life.
Yeah.
So maybe you could call it neon paganism.
Neon paganism.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
And he eventually got into tattooing. He is a traditional tattoo artist, which is he's got the stick. It's got a pointy bit on the end of it.
A little hammer?
You put a little hammer, and you put some ink on the stick, and then tap on the end of it with a little hammer, and does these wonderful, just like swirling,
Neat.
Runic designs, basically. And he's kind of become, well known for his tattoo work.
I had one of those, kinda.
One of the little tattoo sticks or whatever.
No, a tattoo that was sort of made in that sort of fashion.
Okay.
Although without the stick and the hammer.
But it was like
It was a pointillist
swirly thing.
Yeah, it was my arm, my left arm. Bass player in my band did it.
Was it good?
For a dude who'd never done a tattoo or any drawings of any kind, and
A man who had no artistic ability whatsoever.
yeah, I said, "Hey, could you put this on my arm?" He's like, "Yeah, man." And
Sure.
and so it was on my arm. And he's on there for forever. And everybody's, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "I'm tired of explaining it." And now it's covered.
There you go. That's the thing that you can do with tattoos.
Yeah.
Although it's sort of a weird like sliding scale.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how do I get rid of this tattoo? I either pay a lot for laser surgery, or I get a bigger tattoo to cover it up.
The best solution is always the bigger tattoo. Yeah.
There you go. But he's a tattoo artist, and he started getting into doing throat singing. And he's been, a metal fan throughout his life, and he's listened to a lot of different metal bands, and sort of that has kind of influenced him. Christopher is a sound engineer. He has a recording studio called Lava Studios in Copenhagen, and they record a lot of
is he Danish?
Yeah, he's Danish.
He is Danish.
Christopher is Danish, and he records a lot of dramatic folk music and that sort of thing. And they met, and basically Kai offered Christopher, is like, hey, you've got this studio. I would like to do some recordings of some poems. If you let me record in the studio, you get a free tattoo. Christopher never got the tattoo, but they kept on making these recordings, and they hadn't quite figured out what they wanted to do with them. And then they were practicing something in Christopher's backyard. And that's when Maria, Christopher's girlfriend, walks in and goes, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" And sees Kai half naked dancing around in their garden. It's like, what are you doing? I have to be involved in this.
This is too awesome.
Her and Christopher had been involved in a experimental rock or goth rock band called Yusin. Maria Franz is the third of the triplet, and really I think on their most recent work, the most present voice a lot of times.
Especially in this new one.
Yeah, on the newest album, she does.
She's amazing.
She's an amazing singer. And she's got so much range too. Holy shit. So she kind of became involved in the project, and sort of ever since then, I think this was 2010 or something, they've been working on stuff. And then in 2015 was sort of when they officially started putting stuff out, and okay, we made a thing. Let's figure out what to do with it.
Right.
And it developed their first album, which I think was called Ofnir. Developed a bit of a following, and they eventually decided to do some live shows in 2017. And the second live show they ever did...
Was it the second one or the first one?
This is their second one. I thought it was their first one. It is their second one. The second live show they ever did as a band was recorded as Lifa, which is... you can find it as a live album on Spotify as just the audio, or you can watch. I really recommend watching,
because there's so much of a visual element to this band.
Yeah, this is really a band that is meant to be watched.
Right.
It's great to listen to. It's even better to watch them. They have extremely elaborate costumes and stage, gear, so many antlers and some human bones and homemade drums, and they put so much effort into looking the part and really making you feel like you are watching something that is stepped out of history.
One thing I really love about their videos is that, especially that live video of the Lifa, is that the audience can't see what necessarily the camera can see.
Yeah.
And you're getting close, and it's, that's a Shure SM50.
Yeah.
It sort of takes you out of it a little bit. Imagine being in the audience, you can't see the big antler thing that he has a little bit of a microphone stand on it. and they don't pretend necessarily that the microphones aren't there. No.
But
they're trying to put you into a headspace.
Yeah, you look a little too closely at it, and it's you can see all the technology. You can see a keyboard. You can see some mixers up on stage. But that is all to facilitate the amplified part of amplified
because they have to have that. Yeah.
And they perform in these just wonderful, wonderful outfits.
Wonderful makeup jobs are great.
Christopher's is always a little simple. He just wears a tunic and
he looks dirty.
Yeah, his stage makeup is soot. Basically, he's just covered in soot. That's his stage makeup. But he's mostly handling a lot of technical stuff during the show. Kai and Maria, on the other hand, holy shit.
Yeah,
their outfits are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Kai is wearing this really cool shamanistic series of coats, you call it. There's some fur.
There's antlers.
Yeah, he's got these antlers with these metal things attached to him. These metal rune symbols attached to him. And his eyes are kind of covered. Same goes with Maria. And he, I think, has the metallic tassels attached to his coat, I think, which reminds me in a lot of ways of like powwow garb. If you've ever been to a Native American powwow, this actually feels like the European version of music you hear at a powwow.
Sure, and I feel like all primitive music really stems from a same sort of
very basic urge.
Right, basic urge, basic humanness. I feel like what was done in very primitive Northern Europe, we've done this almost exactly the same as very primitive North America.
It's the same instruments. It's horns. It's drums.
Right.
It's hitting stuff with sticks.
It's
blowing air to
chanting
things.
and
that is part of the point with the music. The name Heilung, we didn't explain this earlier. In German, it just means healing. And the basic idea, Kai has, or Christopher, one of them has stated this. The basic idea of the band is to have people listen to this and at the very least come out the other end feeling more at peace with something. You're connecting to this very primal part of your past, but it is in service of making you feel a little bit better about your future in a sense.
It does. It's weird how it does that. And it just dawned on me that I was listening to this. It didn't even occur to me until you're saying these words. I was listening to this as cleaning up the kitchen and doing some stuff. Some dad man in the house kind of cleaning up and fixing and stuff. And I've been listening to it for half an hour, and my son needed to have homework done. And I took the headphones off and, okay, son, let's do homework.
Yeah, what are we up to?
What do you have? Mathematics. Okay.
It's a very, I mean, it's it's kind of, it's like trance music almost. It is. It's got elements of that because so much of it is percussion and beats and like the whole thing is percussion basically. And of course there are horns and there's a stringed instrument they have. I cannot remember what it's called, but it's an Indian instrument, and by that I mean
from India.
It is a stringed instrument. I can't remember
a single
what it's
string
called. Yeah, I think it's a single string, or it might be three actually, but it's on a stick that you hold, and then you have a bow in your other hand, and you bow that string basically. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's a very cool instrument that Maria plays. But yeah, it is sort of meant to be a song or a music of healing, of coming together. In the beginning of Lifa, the chant at the beginning is "Remember that we are all brothers." Basically, sharing. The band kind of shares what you were talking about, which is, you go far enough back in the music of any culture, and it starts to sound the same. And like exactly like you said, from a very primal human place of let's make something, let's make sound, let's make noise.
Right.
This is very, very firmly rooted in that. It's Northern European, mostly in Bent, because that's where they're from.
Sure, that's
what they're familiar with. But they branched out a little bit, and
like you said, they have an instrument from India.
Yeah, they have an instrument from India, and they were talking actually about how difficult it is to like buy drums with skin. So it's like Lakota drums basically is the thing that people know how to make. Making drums in the Lakota style.
Bison, with bison hide on
bison hide and stuff like that. And they've got drums that are deer hide, and they have, I think the biggest one is cow hide, I want to say, because it's a big animal. They have a lot of very natural instruments, a lot of actual antlers and bones and that sort of thing. So it is Female February, so let's talk about Maria Franz.
Maria Franz, who you watch on stage and you go, how is she not falling off the front of the stage? Because
it looks like she can't see anything.
Yeah, it looks like she can't see anything.
It is kind of tassels hanging in front, so she can probably see between them pretty well. She's wearing this big headdress with these big, long, like red deer antlers attached to it, and this beautiful flowing white dress, and then this white makeup with black spikes coming down, and holy shit, can she sing.
She can sing amazingly,
and she is sort of the calming, sort of soothing voice on all of their work, because Kai,
he's the Briarheart to the group.
Kai has, of course, this very sort of, it alternates between these sort of rough, kind of almost black metal howls and whatnot, and the very well done like throat singing.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
remarkably consistent remarkably impressive how consistent he is.
Now, the throat singing dates back to where? To what society? What culture? I mean, because you hear about Tuvan throat singing, you hear about different...
The style that he does, he specifically identifies as being Mongolian and Tibetan in style. So Central Asian in style. I think there are other cultures that have throat singing as a musical term. People will call it overtone singing. There are different ways you can accomplish that. Tuvan or Mongolian or Tibetan. Central Asian is sort of the same school of thought of accomplishing overtone singing like that. And then Maria is the calmer, cleaner voice on their work, and she can go up high.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With some power.
Yes, with a lot of power behind it. And she spent a lot of time studying like traditional like Norwegian singing. So there is it's not on Futha, it's on Lifa. There's a part in, I want to say in Medyan, which is the first full song, where she does this I suppose you would call it a goat call. It is a traditional Norwegian goat call, and it sounds like a goat, but like oh wow,
That's the song.
I've never heard anything like it before.
That's the song that's on the video game commercial, right?
That is being used as the
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2, yeah. And I think they're just doing the score for the game.
Wow.
In general, I think they are doing the score for the whole game, I want to say. At the very least, they were on the trailer. But very well fitting for Hellblade. Extremely fitting music for Hellblade.
I've watched that damn commercial like 15, 20 times.
I've been meaning to play Hellblade for since I heard about it last year.
It's on all platforms.
I think so.
Yeah. But I think Hellblade 2 right now
might be an Xbox
only,
exclusive, although that probably includes the Microsoft Store on PC. So
sure, you probably do it clicking and peck.
Yeah, I play my PC games hunt and peck. That's why I'm so bad at first-person shooters. Is I have WASD, but I hunt and peck it one finger at a time.
Where's the W?
Where's the W key? I want to move forward. I don't know why I turned into Goofy. Where's the W key, Maxie?
For the record, if you're listening to this happens to Kale a lot.
I start turning into Goofy.
He turns into Goofy.
Basically, that is my default impression of like half of the male country artists that I play. If I start singing, it's immediately Goofy. It immediately turns into a Goofy impression.
You know, and I wait for the day. And for some reason, in the back of my head, because I'm a weirdo, I wait for Kale to come out of the country music studio, head down to the bathroom, and he's singing along like this with Jason Aldean.
Well, gosh.
Well, gosh. And then he turns, and he misses the first step, and we hear, Yahoo! As he goes flying down the stairs.
It's going to happen one day. I'm sure it will happen eventually.
Yeah.
God. So,
you all right?
I got some phlegm going.
You got some phlegm?
I got some phlegm going in the back of my throat. So, do you think this album slaps, or do you think Heilung slaps?
Man, what is a slap? I
don't know if the term applies.
I don't know if the term applies. I mean, I do know that it's one of those bands where you put it on and you don't want to take it off.
Yeah. You start listening to it, and it's like, I've begun a ritual. You cannot interrupt the ritual.
You cannot interrupt the ritual.
Let's keep going. Let's keep this going.
Yeah, you have to have the ritual. You go to bed, and you have the thing, and you wake up, and you go out, and you water your crops, and then you have to go to the mine, and you have to come back.
You have to kill some slimes.
Kill some slimes.
OJ, yes. You're talking.
What? What's going on?
I forgot the name of the game.
Stardew Valley.
You're talking about Stardew Valley.
And you have to go to Pierre's grocery store, and you have to sell your corn, and then you have to go fishing, and it's terrible.
Yeah, I've heard the fishing kind of sucks.
It does. Apparently, my oldest daughter's good at fishing. She's good at it. She's got the knack.
She needs to teach you her secrets.
Apparently. But
yeah, I don't think slap really applies.
It does. It doesn't slap you, but it holds you.
Yeah, it holds onto you. It's you don't want to call it a slap. You want to call it like a hug. Mm-hmm. Like this album is kind of like, this is a big Viking hug.
Right. Like if you were at like a party or something out in the middle of nowhere and it's scary and maybe there's wolves out there, but this shit starts playing.
Well,
It's cool now.
it sort of depends. It depends on who you are and what your ancestry is. This shit starts playing and you're of Northern European ancestry.
Yeah.
Whether you're Scandinavian or you're Celtic or you're from continental Europe, you probably feel all right. If you're from the Mediterranean, if you're Italian maybe,
Sure.
and this starts playing, you start having flashbacks to like the battle of fucking I can't remember. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest.
Oh, sure.
You start having flashbacks. It's just like, fuck, the trees are speaking German. It's like that song on Lifa, which I could not for the life of me pronounce, where they have basically a shield wall on stage that are all chanting at once. And holy fuck, that's intimidating. Now just imagine being a Roman legionary and that sound comes out of the forest from every direction. It's like, oh shit, time to go back to Rome, boys.
Right. I mean, that was basically the only reason they hung on to Londinium, was because there was water between them. Had there not been that water, they'd have been like, peace.
Let's just go.
We're out.
Let's just leave right away.
We're gonna go.
Let's just go. We lost how many eagles? 3. We'll get them later.
Bye.
Bye. I find it very comforting.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I feel a little stressed out, like I will turn on specifically like Othan.
Othan, that's my favorite song in this album.
Othan is a very good song.
That's just the harmonies on that are just crazy.
Norupo also very much that way. I'll turn that one on. And then if I'm feeling a little bit more upbeat, I'll listen to like Hammer Hippier and In Madyen and stuff like that.
What's the name of the song that they close with? What is
on the new album?
That's Hammer Hippier.
Yeah, Hammer Hippier.
That's almost like you'd hear that in a club.
That is.
You'd almost hear that one.
And Hammer Hippier is actually one of their more. It's almost like the. Yeah. That is almost like the thesis statement for the band.
Sure.
In the name of the band as well, because it's based on. Oh, the name is escaping me all of a sudden. It was I think it's Menseberg text. I want to say something like that. It was a poem that was written down in the 9th century by some German pagan. Again, it's 9th century in Germany, so that's kind of going away.
Right. It's on its way out.
Charlemagne is making sure that is on its way out. And it's one of the very few pieces of written material that they have about that era of Central European paganism, of Germanic paganism in Germany. And it is basically describing one of the texts anyway. There's a couple different like poems in there. One of them is describing Odin and Balder going on a journey, and Balder's horse breaks its leg, and Odin says this chant, which is the central chant in
Odin
Hammer
is
Hippier.
Balder's grandfather.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, father. It's his father.
Father?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because Balder is Thor's brother.
Yes.
Right.
So Odin says this chant and heals the horse's leg.
Sure.
That is like the central chant of the song. And you wouldn't necessarily know, listening to the tone, that this is supposed to be a healing sort of song, but you kind of leave it. I mean, you leave the whole thing sort of feeling a little bit better. But it's kind of like, wow, this is supposed to be healing. Okay, all right. Oh, now the cat is finally getting up and leaving the room. She wants to smell your coat.
Go ahead, smell my coat.
So I was looking up scores for Futha. I managed to find 4 reviews. 83 is what it came out to, which is a very standard score for what I would consider a good album. Normally something that is good usually comes out in the 80s, so it's not a bad result.
Not a bad result at all.
So you mentioned your favorite song is Othan.
Othan, yeah.
I as far as my favorites on Futha, I like Othan and Hammer Hippier.
Yeah, love the Hammer Hippier.
And then on Lifa, because both those songs are on Lifa or Lifa.
So they weren't on the first album, but they made it in the Life album, and then they made it in the
were working
studio
on
recording to follow. Yeah,
they were working on them at the time.
Yeah.
But as far as songs that would have been on Ofnir, which I haven't listened to Ofnir very much because it's a little, it is a little lo-fi compared to, it's lo-fi even compared to their live album, which is crazy. But it's lo-fi, certainly compared to Futha. So I haven't listened to that one nearly as much as I have with Lifa and with Futha, but I really like In Madyan, which is the first track on that.
Sure.
I really, really
That's
love
such
that.
a great song.
It is a great song, and the way towards the end, because the first half is very much Kai and Christopher going back and forth with these chants, and then the second half slows down, and you get this 3-minute building action with Maria going higher and higher and higher and higher into her range, and it's a thing to behold. It is such a thing to behold, especially when you watch it live. I would love to go see these guys at a live show. That would be amazing. That would be wonderful. What medal are you giving the stuff that we've listened to of theirs?
Of theirs, I give it a gold.
Yeah. Overall, I'd give it a gold. I'd say Lifa especially gets a gold.
Right.
Futha, I might give a silver.
Yeah.
Just because, that's, again, it's kind of like Shakespeare.
Sure.
Shakespeare is meant to be watched, not to be read. I feel like Heilung is meant to be seen, not necessarily to be listened to, although listening you get 98% of the effect probably.
Yeah.
It's that last 2% that I really want now.
I actually did something that I try never to do. I read the YouTube comments. And somebody they're all positive.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, well, to be honest, Heilung is something to be felt, not listened to.
Yeah. You kind of feel this in your bones. And I think anybody from any heritage could listen to this and feel something, because it connects to such a primal place, I think, in your head, where it's just a very human sort of thing of I hear drums. I know what drums are. So yeah, I adore this band. I think they're amazing. That's it for Heilung. Next week, what do we got? Because it's going to be March next week.
And is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Because I considered there are so many records for non-metal.
I know
that I decided, if we're gonna do it, which is more personal for me that I would like to share with you and with the audience. Okay. And I think we're going with Siamese Dream.
Siamese Dream by
Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay, Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Was the other one Melancholy?
And the Infinite Sadness?
Yeah.
No, that was okay.
What was the other one?
The other one, I was actually considering going with Independent Worm Saloon by the Butthole Surfers. It's funny. You go, you laugh and it's hilarious and it's funny, but you listen to the album and you go, this is actually highly listenable and weirdly enjoyable.
I mean, hey, last year you brought Ween, so
yeah, and the Butthole Surfers, actually that album and Electric Larryland was also a fucking awesome album, but yeah,
maybe sometime later, but definitely next week I'm down for some Smashing Pumpkins.
Because you haven't really listened to them much.
Yeah, I have, other than what's been on the radio. I haven't heard a lot of Smashing Pumpkins. So
I think the one that you might have heard on the radio from this one is Disarm. That's
it's possible. I think most of the stuff they have on the radio is from Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Yeah, because that's a very long album with a lot of songs on it.
It's a double album.
So they had a lot to put on the radio that lasted them a while. I think week after that, I mean, it's a non-metal March. I'm probably gonna bring the Wonder Years.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna bring.
I love what I've heard from them. I didn't expect to, but I enjoyed what you brought.
I'll probably bring their newest album. So prepare to be sad.
All right.
While listening to that, because their newest album is by far their most mature and also their most emo, but the late 90s emo, not the mid 2000s radio emo. There's a difference. Trust me. So yeah, I think that's next couple of weeks for us. So if you enjoy listening to this sort of thing, please consider subscribing to us on iTunes or your Libsyn feed or wherever you're getting us. I'm not sure, but wherever you're getting us, click a button to keep getting us and get notifications. Otherwise, check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll post new episode links there as well. So, in the meantime, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.
I'm okay then.
Ha!
Oh, you're talking to the cat.
I was talking to the cat.
You know you should leave it like that. That'd be.
I mean, yeah, I should leave my microphone. Who am I, fucking Mike Mangini? My cymbals all the fucking way up there, and it's not just cymbals too. He's got drums up there. He's got drums all the way up there.
You know, and I have to imagine he's one of those motorcyclists. Does he have a motorcycle? I wonder.
I don't know.
He's got to have ape hangers.
Yeah. He's got fucking hangers. Yeah. God.
I couldn't find anything that was necessarily appropriate for the. So I thought, but I've never had this before.
I mean, you could have gotten mead, but
yeah, I thought about that. Thought about doing the mead thing.
It's all right. Let's see.
Would have been appropriate. Ooh. Okay.
Would have been. There's an episode of How to Drink where he talks about he makes basically a D&D drink where he's trying to make like a tavern punch that you can mix up a big batch of and put in a barrel that you could all drink while you're playing D&D. And he's like, I want it to. It's like mead and a couple other things that he put in there. Apparently, it was delicious, but he's like the way we make mead now is sort of different because the mead a lot of us think of when we think of like a fantasy or like a medieval tavern and big tankards of mead and there's lots of froth and stuff like that. That's a particular kind of mead that that had like more yeast in it or something like that. Like it was a particular kind. I can't remember what it was.
Was it a brewed mead? Because the kind of mead we have now is not done with a brewing.
Yeah, most of it
process.
is just fermented the way wine is.
Right.
It's
honey wine.
Yeah, it's honey it's dangerous to say honey wine because honey wine is a thing, which is grape wine that's been flavored with honey.
Sure, and a lot of mead is that though. I mean, a lot of stuff that they're passing as mead.
There should be it should be like Scotch, where legally, in order to call it this, it has to be this.
Right.
Where
like bourbon.
Yeah. Like legally, in order to call something Scotch, it has to be distilled in Scotland, and I think it might have to be. It might have to be
like
made with peat.
Oh, made with some of them are not peaty. I mean, there's a wide range.
Yeah,
I mean, there's the really peaty Scotch, and then there's the not peaty Scotch.
But I think peat has to be involved somehow. Otherwise, you just say Scottish whiskey. Maybe I don't know, but something like that, where it's like if you're going to call this mead, it has to be made with honey as the fermented agent.
I'm just imagining Scotch whiskey is made. Shit, we can't call it Scotch unless we get peat in there. Peat.
Get over here and piss into the tub. At 8. At 8 then.
I'll be over there.
I'll do that. Okay.